So, what's up? This is Takarius Wheels, and I have not done a video in a long time on my channel. I apologize about that. But today I got my 2002 Ford Motor Company Ford Mustang. That it is a 3.8 liter V6. It's a 5-speed manual transmission because that's the way we do things around here. You can redeem yourself by having a stick shift if you have a V6 Mustang. Look at the way that car is sitting. She's so pretty. I am missing a cap on my wheel right there. Ignore that. I had to buy a new rim, and let me tell you, people love the crack Ford jokes, but I have ran over curbs. I'm talking about tall curbs, not curbs that were that tall. I'm talking about curbs that were twice that tall. I have ran over curbs and drove out of the bushes with this car. These Mustangs, they are two-wheel drive. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a rundown of this car, review of this car, and in my next video I'm going to say what I like and what I don't like about it. And there's a little bit of things that I really do not care for in this car. And I'm just going to go ahead and give you a hint. It's the brakes on this car. And that's all I'm going to say. And I'll put it in my next video of what it is that I really don't care for. But I love this car. This is my first car. This is a car that I will not be getting rid of. And my parents, they said they wanted me to give this car back to them. That's not going to happen because her name is Vanessa. My car, that car right there, that's my baby. Nobody touches that car. I've got this car protected. I park this car where I can see it every time I sit down in a restaurant. I do obsess over this car because, I mean, look at it. That is a bright color red Mustang. How many Mustangs have you seen of this model year that aren't at least 05 and up still retain a quality paint job like this? There's a few scratches and dents, you know, right there. And then this car has been sideswiped. I'm gonna tell you, this car has been through it, and I'll show you what been through it is when I get inside the car and I start it up. This car does have a keyless entry access system, you know, the panic, the trunk, unlock, lock. I'm gonna close that before I drive off with it. So the inside of this car, it's basically the same in, you know, the GTs, the Shelby, the V6. There is nothing different in this car at all. Maybe the seats, depending on whether you get leather or cloth seats, and I would say that's about it. Now the radio is different in the 2002s than it is in like the 2004s. I don't know if that makes sense, but so as far as the door panels, really this is one of those cars that, depending on how clean you keep it and how good you take care of it, is basically what the inside is going to look like. So if you got gnashes and dents and scratches and holes all in the seats and stuff, that makes the car look, oh, this car is well kept on the inside. You'll have to excuse all my college books. I just got on my college books today. But yeah, now of course my roof is coming down, but this car holds up very well, and I do have a gnash in my seat right here, and it's pretty deep. These are not my stock floor mats. These are floor mats that I got for Christmas. You know, the typical clutch, brake, gas. Oh, that reminds me, I need to do a video on how to drive a stick. But yeah, you know, you got the little ponytail, and that I did not do that. That's just wear and tear, and it actually looks good in my opinion. My steering wheel has a little, you know, it's been used. This car has a lot of miles on it, but I'm gonna go ahead and start her up for you and let you hear her. Typical Ford door chime. Hear the fuel pump start up, put it in neutral. I do have an exhaust on this car. This is not a stock exhaust V6. This is not your mother's V6. the hood of this Mustang is Ford's 3.8 liter V6. It's a pretty big engine, but I mean, not the displacement, but I mean, from the looks, there's not really that much space except for what you have right here. The engine basically takes up the entire compartment. It's good for a 193 crank horsepower, not wheel horsepower. I can tell you now, this car does not have. I mean, it's a Mustang. I don't really know what Ford was thinking when they made this engine or the V6 Mustang. I mean, this was the model year where if you wanted power, you needed to step up 2 more cylinders, because a V6 just wasn't going to do it. And even the V8, you can get beat in a Toyota Camry V6 right about now. And the even in the GT, I mean, yeah, it sounds good. I mean, it's a 2-valve. This is Ford's 2-valve right here. 3.8 liter V6. It makes, I'd say, about roughly 150 wheel horsepower. I don't know what the brake horsepower is, the horsepower to the crank, but I mean, it doesn't even make 200 horsepower. But so you have your your air intake. This is the real stuff I like. Everything is where you can reach it. Alternator, air conditioner, compressor, and I'm telling you, I've had some problems with the air conditioner in this car right here. But we got it fixed. I do have a brand new radiator on this car. It's about to rain, but the radiator, I still stock fan, stock coolant reservoir. That battery is obviously not stock. My headlights have a little bit of fog on them. I've tried to keep those clean and keep the your hood latch 3.8. Go ahead and start it up so you can. Now what you heard back there when I was revving the car is not what the car sounds like at idle. Like when you just start the car, I don't know what it is inside the engine, but the car is trying to get itself up to normal operating temperature. And when it really idles, it sounds like a V8. But when it was idling just then, it probably sounded like a tractor. But it really does sound like a V8 when it's idling, especially after you let it run for about 5 minutes, and it'll really sound like a V8. Trying to get something that people like. I am actually liking the way the hood looks while it's open right now. It's like, this car is so pretty to me. I love it. But you regret saying that it's down on power when you slide getting onto the interstate in second gear, about to stall. I don't understand that. And you're not turning sharp, but I mean, you have to. I don't know if it's just that one particular spot, but this car is torquey. I mean, it's torquey, but the torque is like, it's a delay, but it's not really a delay. It's because the torque band on this car is above 2,500 RPM. So you're not going to feel nobody's home until about 2,500 RPM. And my parents think I speed. And when you're a teenager, everybody wants to say you're speeding and stuff. But when you have a loud car, it's kind of hard to counterfeit that. And this car is very loud. I'm going to pull off, and this car backfires. And when I say it backfires, every upshift, I don't shift until I touch the torque band. There's no point, because you're trying to get up a hill, and this is one of those cars where you can barely even accelerate with the air conditioner on. I mean, the air conditioner pulls that much power. Not only do you have the compressor, but you have the radiator pulling power from the engine. You have the compressor pulling power from the engine, clicking on and off, trying to regulate that pressure. And then you have the electric fan blowing air across the coils. So I mean, it's a significant power loss. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, this car is not really meant to go that fast. But when you think about the fact that a Prius can touch the top speed that this car can, but that's only because this car has a speed governor on it, and it's a very strict speed governor. I mean, I've passed it one time, but I was going down a hill, and it started engine braking on me because of how, I mean, you're not going over 115. I'm just gonna tell you that. Give her a little wobble, make sure she's in. So yeah, you know how all the V6 Mustangs, they have kind of like a whine to them. Is my radiator on? Did I just hear it click? Oh no. But they have like that whine. I don't know if that's the alternator or just the actual sound of the engine. But you turn the wheel and it makes that little whining noise. Here, I'll demonstrate. I mean, you hear that whine. I don't know if that's the steering pump or the alternator or just the way the actual engine sounds. But, I mean, that's how you can tell a V6 from a V8 Mustang of this model year. The whine. You have V6s out here with GT badges on them. I mean, I'm into the Mustang stuff, the typical stereotype. No, I did not do those tire marks because I would not have the amount of tread on my tires that I have. You can clearly see in between that. As for the trunk, it's a pretty big trunk space for, it being a Mustang. you know, the trunk net. One problem I did have about this is, you know, the net. This right here, or this actually, you'd open the trunk and the net would be hooked onto this, and that's, you can see that right there. But I try to keep all my stuff. I try to keep my car and trunk clean. That's the color the car is supposed to be. And you can see a drastic difference in that and the trunk. But yeah, all the way, and the rear seats do fold down, but they don't fold down from the actual trunk. You have to go inside. Those are two. They're not latches. They're more like handles. I don't know how to. Those latches I was talking about. They're on the top. I can't even focus. It's this right here on the top. You pull that and the seats fold down. I don't know what the actual ratio on that split is, but it's probably not going to be flat because the seats angle upwards. And as you do know, the rear seats in Mustangs are unusable. And that seat is not even all the way back. I couldn't imagine what it was all the way back. Now, what I did also want to mention is the driver's side seat is power adjustable. So it's, you know, you have your backwards, forwards, up, down, you know, your tilt up, your tip back, and what was this? Your raise up and raise down. Yeah, I don't know, it basically goes, you know, your typical driver's side seat. And your passenger seat is manually controlled. I'm gonna go ahead and go on a drive, so, and I'm like, you know, us Mustang owners, we like to ride with the windows down. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm only going to ride with one down because you might not be able to hear me. Cut the air off because that adds power, if you know what I mean. That adds a little bit of horsepower because you're not having that load pulled off the engine. My camera's probably going to fall. You remember that backfire? There it went. I'm only shifting at 2,500 RPM, so I'm not doing any extra. You know, I'm gonna try not to make this camera fall. I might just have to reach my hand over there in the middle of this video. Rev match, use a little bit of engine braking because I am going down a hill right about now. You can add a little bit more engine braking. This is first gear engine braking for you. I'm only spending 2,700 RPM. 2,000 RPM. And second. Just go around the curve. Oh, told you my camera was gonna fall. I'm not gonna be able to do any exotic driving because I'm actually filming on 2 cameras right now. So I'm filming on my MacBook and my iPhone because I don't have the type of money to get a camera. So y'all might not even be able to see me right now. I don't know how that goes. Floor it! Ooh, you hear that backfire? I'm getting on my interstate now, and there's that truck right there. You know that. See if I can make it backfire. That's if you can hear it over my blinker light, dang it. Yeah, at nighttime, it's just like a crisp backfire. It's not like a crackle.